Hey man, what's going on out there, YouTube? Yo, this your boy, Mr. Nelson 89, aka LB. Coming at you guys with another video. This video is not a vinyl CD update or anything like that. Basically, man, this is just something I just want to get off my chest, pretty much. So the other day, man, I think it was like a couple of days ago, man, I was on YouTube. I was watching like some videos. I was watching the Roots video, what they do. And one of the guys on there, one of the YouTube users on there, he left this comment saying that we went from this to Young Thug. Hip hop is dead. And man, I looked at his replies, man, and like, man, he had like a bunch of replies from people who were like, they were pretty much challenging his opinion, saying that, nah, hip hop ain't dead. There's plenty of good hip hop music still coming out. One person even went as far as to tell him that he was being lazy and not researching and going out there looking for like a lot of these good up and coming artists that's out there making music. And I don't know, the dude, for whatever reason, man, he was like, I mean, I understand it was his opinion and everything like that, man, but he was like coming back at people like aggressively. You know what I'm saying? He was being, I hate to say it, man, it was kind of ignorant, man. And I even left a comment asking him like, okay, if hip hop is dead, then tell me what. I was like, what is Run the Jewels? Because I think Run the Jewels in recent years, man, they become one of the best hip hop duos or groups that's come out. You know what I'm saying? They've already released like 2 like highly acclaimed albums. Killer Mike and LP, and both of those guys are legends in their own right, and they still dropping dope music that's really good. But I don't know. I can't even remember what his response was to me, man. I just know it was just really ignorant, man, and he was coming off like a bully or more like a troll. And I remember I responded back to him. I was like, LMAO, you know what I'm saying, you sound real hard on the internet, man. I was just laughing, man, because how he was coming back at people didn't make a whole lot of sense. But then, he comes back at me. He even like left his phone number talking about, let's see how tough you is, nigga, and stuff like that. And I just responded back to the dude like, well, first of all, I'm not gonna call you, man, because I already know what that situation is, man. Like, your opinion is being challenged by others, and you don't know how to handle it. So now you want to take the whole aggressive bully demeanor and try to come to get your point across. And I told him, I broke it down to him. Like, I told him that, if he didn't want people, because he said something in his response about, if I don't like what he says, then mind my business. And I was like, okay, well, you're right. You are entitled to your opinion. You stated your opinion, and then I stated mine. And I was like, if you don't like people responding back to what you say on YouTube, then maybe you shouldn't leave comments where YouTube gives other users the option to reply to anything that you comment on. And I just broke it down to him real, like, intelligently, man. And he didn't respond back to me. I don't know if he even seen it or not. But regardless, man, I don't want to get into the whole argument and all like that. But the point I'm trying to make with this video is that, people really need to stop saying that hip hop is dead, because it's really not dead, man. There's plenty of good music that is still coming out. I mean, Royce da 5'9", man, he just dropped a new project, a new album. A new album. He just dropped a new album that so far has gotten like a lot of rave reviews from people. You know what I'm saying? Earlier, like last year, him and Primo hooked up and did that whole Prime collaboration, which also got some great reviews and accolades. You know what I'm saying? And I think Crooked Eye, he just dropped a new album with Static Selector called Static King. What else, man? Like I mentioned, Run the Jewels. Run the Jewels is still dropping some dope music. I mean, it just don't really make any sense for people to keep on saying that hip hop is dead when you have all this great music that is steadily coming out. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Talib Kweli, one of my favorite MCs, man, You know, him and Knife Wonder, they hooked up, and both of their labels came out with this Indie, what was it, Indie 500 collaboration. I mean, come on, man. Talib Kweli still doing his thing. There's so many artists out there that's still doing their thing, and not just them, but it's also a lot of young up and coming guys that is dropping dope stuff, man. I mean, look at Joey Badass, man. You know, people are already comparing him to like Nas' Illmatic era. I mean, this dude is like, what, 21? I mean, he started when he was like, what, 14 or 15, just kicking dope rhymes, man. I mean, he was just really on one. Yeah, so people really need to stop pushing that whole hip-hop is dead agenda, because it's not dead. You can't, with all these artists that I just named, you cannot tell me with a straight face that hip-hop is dead, because that's just not true. You know what I'm saying? And it's just laziness. And what I think is that people that are constantly pushing that whole hip-hop is dead agenda, these are people who have allowed the media and the radio dictate to them what hip-hop is. You know, that's not how it is for me, and it's not how it is for a lot of people out here who really know that hip-hop is still prominent, and it's still good music coming out, man. Like, your favorite artist may not be on the radio, on MTV, or any like music network like they used to be back in the 90s, but that doesn't mean that they don't stop working. You gotta understand, a lot of these artists, they have left the major labels and they've gone independent. You know, Redman, he's gone independent. He's no longer with Def Jam. He's got his own label, Gilla House Records. He's doing it independently now. So yeah, you may not see him or hear him on TV and the radio, but that doesn't mean that he's not working. He's still doing his thing. You know, he says it all the time in interviews that him and Meth, they tour and get money like it's still the 90s. He said they get so many offers that they have to turn down tours just so they can have time to do work on material and, you know, spend time with family and stuff like that, man. So, and you know, people need to stop saying music is dead in general, because I know in my institutional video class that I took, we had this guest. He was a DJ, and I remember during his interview he made this comment saying that the music died in the 90s. And me and another girl in the classroom, we kind of looked at each other funny. We looked at each other and we had this funny expression like, what's this dude talking about? See, stuff like that needs to stop, man. You know what I'm saying? Just because the enjoyment of music has been ruined for you doesn't give you the right to try to push this whole agenda that, oh, it's dead. No, it's dead to you. Or maybe you're just dead because you've let, like I said, you let the corporate music industry dictate to you what music is now. You know what I'm saying? It's what music is to you is your personal choice. Like, my choices may not be the same as somebody else's, but that's just how it goes, man. You decide what music is to you. Music is anything that touches your soul, man. Now, I'm not the biggest Drake fan, the biggest Young Thug, whatever fan. Now, I mean, they have songs that I do like, you know, like, I ain't gonna lie, I liked that Young Thug, that Check song. I thought that song had a nice beat to it. I liked the way he delivered on that song. But I mean, I'm not like a huge fan. I mean, I liked that song. I thought it was good. You know, Drake, he dropped songs here and there that I like, that I think is dope. Rich Homie Quan, you know, when he dropped that Type of Way song, I thought that was a pretty hot song. You know, some of the drill music that comes out of Chicago, some of that stuff sounds pretty nice, man. I mean, it may not be what I listen to on a regular basis, because as you can tell from how I've been talking, my lane is more like the classic dudes, or the more underground independent type guys that's doing like maybe weird, like kind of experimental type stuff, or things that's not necessarily radio friendly or mainstream accessible. That's more my lane, but that's just me. That's my personal choice. Now, somebody else, Young Thug and Drake and Rich Homie Quan, any of these new guys out here, because I can't name all of them, because some of them guys I don't even know, honestly. Kind of makes me feel like an old man. But anyway, that to somebody, that's hip hop, and you really can't be mad at them. I mean, the best thing you can do is maybe recommend something that you feel is better and that they might like better, but that's hip-hop to somebody. But just because that's what you hear on the radio all the time and that's what's being pushed, that doesn't mean that hip-hop is dead. Because to be honest with you, it's always been like that. You've always had the gimmicky mainstream artists that the labels, that the majors push on everybody, and then you've always had the like low-key independent or like under the radar type dudes that's really doing it, you know, with like the lyricism and like the experimentation, stuff that may not be radio friendly, so to speak. You've always had that. It's always been like that. Even back in the 90s, it was like that. Even during the golden era, it was like that. It's just that back then, you know, it was different. You know, you had to have skills. You know, you just had to be original. And that's the only thing I can really say, is that a lot of the stuff that you hear on the radio now is not really that all original. A lot of the mainstream commercial artists you hear, a lot of them in hip-hop aren't really that original. And that's just something I have to say, that because almost everybody is sounding the same. You know, back in when I was growing up, if you was from New York, you sounded like you was from New York. If you was from Philly, you sounded like you was from Philly. And of course, if you was from the West Coast, you sounded like you was from the West Coast. But nowadays, everybody is going out getting the same producers. You know, they're getting the same features on their records, and most records are being structured in that whole same formula. You know what I'm saying, as far as mainstream hip-hop artists go. And that's just the truth. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that's just the truth, but that's more of how I see it. That's how I see it, man. But I don't think hip-hop is dead, because what's being played on the radio, even that's not what I'm feeling. So I'm going to something else that I do feel, and I found plenty of artists that I can listen to. And also, how can anybody say hip-hop is dead when you still got the classics, when you still got those timeless classics? Those, like, people still talk about Illmatic, people still talk about Blueprint 1, people still talk about 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Forever, which, you know, in my opinion, I think Wu-Tang Forever was better, but that's another story. You know, like all that classic material that was coming out back in the golden era of the 80s and 90s, man. You know, people still be talking about the Bridge Wars and the Juice Crew and Boogie Down Productions. People talk about all of that. Public Enemy. People still talk about that today. Those records are timeless, and they're gonna go on forever. Like, our kids are gonna know about that stuff, man. I mean, look at Tupac and Biggie, man. Them dudes, I mean, like I said, our grandkids or great-grandkids are probably gonna be hearing and knowing about these people. You know what I mean? So, to say hip-hop is dead, no, it's not. Music in general is not dead. And with the way the internet has progressed for the past decade or so, there's really no excuse for anybody to say that they can't find something out there that's good. I mean, there's a lot of artists I got into. Kendrick Lamar I got into from the internet, man. When he was dropping the mixtapes, like the OD, Overly Dedicated, the Kendrick Lamar EP. Actually, I got into him from a Double XL magazine when they were actually promoting good artists. But anyway, man, with the way the internet is, man, there's no way. And then you got channels like Mons, you got channels like Immobilarity One, who else? Mike Sears, who else? There's so many channels out there where people are like showcasing like their collection and trying to put people on to good music. You know what I'm saying? Check out my channel, Mike Sears, Immobilarity, or I mean, shoot, them guys can probably give you other hip-hop channels or just music channels in general where people are talking about music that they can put you on. You know what I'm saying? Like, my heavy metal game has really stepped up because of a gentleman named Scott Waters. He has a channel called No Life to Metal, and where he talks about heavy metal and hard rock, and a lot of that stuff I got put on to from watching this channel. You know what I'm saying? Christian metal, man. Like, when I was first getting into like Christian metal and stuff like that, I could only come up with like the metalcore bands. But after I came across his channel, he started talking about like Christian thrash metal bands and traditional heavy metal bands and Christian death metal bands, and like, dude, it was bands that I had never even heard of. And if I hadn't seen his channel, I wouldn't have known that. I would have thought that the whole Christian metal scene was still the whole, like, the metalcore bands, like As I Lay Dying and stuff like that. But and also he talks about heavy metal in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I got into Saxon from watching his channel and stuff like that. I got more into Iron Maiden from watching this channel. You know what I'm saying? Immobilarity, man. I watched his channel, man. He inspired me to check out like a bunch of like hip hop, like the Flatliners. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff. He like sparked my interest into wanting to go and check out that stuff. Same way with Mike Sears, man. These are people that really are trying to show people that, yo, you got all this good music, man. You don't need to be saying that it's dead. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say, man. Just a, I guess, somewhat of a rant that I wanted to get off my chest, man. But I hope you people check out this video and watch it and really listen to it, man. And I hope it sets a light off in anybody's head who's sitting around thinking that hip-hop or music in general is dead, man, because it's not, man. As long as you got those timeless classics, it's not dead, even if you're not really with what's going on new. But there's still some new stuff that's coming out that's really on point. So don't sleep on music. Don't sleep on hip-hop. Whatever it is, whatever your interest is, don't sleep on it, man. Because, you know, a lot of these, especially like thrash metal, you know, a lot of these thrash metal bands are getting back together and they're dropping like some real good projects. You know, Megadeth just dropped Dystopia earlier this year. Best album, one of the best albums of 2016. You know what I'm saying? Death Angel is finna come out with The Evil Divide, I believe. Is it maybe tomorrow? I think that album comes out tomorrow. And a lot of hip hop artists are coming back up on it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Royce, he just dropped his new album, and you know Talib is steady on the grind, hustling, dropping his music. You know, that last album he did, Gravitas, that whole entire album was fantastic. Beast, man. Check that out. But as always, man, hope everybody has a good and blessed day, and love, peace, and music. So peace out.